hello, hello, hello. We're having all kinds of fun and games today. We're doing something a bit crazy. We're testing some multi-streaming in different formats. We're vertical on YouTube. We are horizontal on YouTube. We are on LinkedIn. We're on X. I don't know what we're doing. We're testing some stuff today. We thought because it's Thanksgiving and some of our American friends will be getting ready for the big meal of the day, we thought we'd start a little bit early today and just see what's going on. But we already have a couple of people joining us already. Hey, Florence. Thanks for joining us. And hello, Ender, as well. Nice. From all the way from Vietnam. Let's get Mr. McKenna on because Martin's been messing around with Crisp. And yeah, is this thing actually working now? I'm just trying to work out what's going on. It doesn't matter. I'm seeing different multiple screens. That's why I'm a bit confused today. But bear with me. It's been a bit of a week. But let's bring Martin on. Hello, Martin. How you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Oh, you're sounding very different today. What's happening?
So, in the background, I've got a lot of work going on, some building work across the road from me, and there is a pile driver, which is just continuously all day long going gudung, 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 gudung. So I thought I should really try some noise cancellation. I've never used Crisp before, but I downloaded it this morning. And now my microphone is going via Crisp for noise reduction purposes. However, it didn't seem to want to work with my normal Focusrite SM7B Shure microphone. So I've switched to a USB smaller microphone, another one from the Shure range, MV44 Plus, I think it is. Tiny little microphone. But it's direct USB one, and Crisp seems to be happy to take my microphone feed from that and put it in via Crisp, and it does sound like it's removing the background noise. What I might do in a little bit is switch back to the Focusrite microphone to see, so that you can see the difference between the two microphones, or hear rather than see.
Yeah.
But of course, in the actual real world background at the moment, I can hear that the banging is currently stopped, which is bound to do, isn't it? It's going to be going all day long, apart from when I want to demonstrate. There's a lot of noise in the background. So when it comes back, probably it's lunchtime or something, and they've knocked off for lunch. But I'm interested to hear viewpoints from those of you who are watching from whatever platforms we happen to be going on. Whether my audio is coming across crisp as it should do and clear. Neil thinks it's quite a different sound.
Very
to
different.
What he's used to hearing.
Yeah.
And I'm not monitoring, not doing in-ear monitoring or anything, so I can't tell the difference.
It's a lot different. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's not your usual radio self, but obviously with all the noise that's been going on in the background, you need something. And we were experimenting today with a number of different things. We were multi-streaming at different platforms. We've got loads of people who've joined us as well. So maybe this is an interesting time to join. And thank you for everybody who's joined us in the US. I know it's early for you guys. And obviously you must be prepping tons of food and things like that. So let's say a few hellos to people first of all. So Florence is saying, Neil is vertical. I am. Martin should be vertical now as well, which is great. Hello, Saeed. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Nugent. Hello, Kirk. It's early for you. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Kirk.
Is this the beta version? We cannot confirm or deny, but wait and see. Maybe. Let's see. We're still doing testing,
actually,
obviously.
we can confirm that it's not the beta version.
I like your style,
that's
Martin.
Not been released.
No, it's not been released. So the beta version has not been released yet. So we're just experimenting. Hello, Maggie. Thank you for joining me today. And Martin, we're working wine on the phone. Great. And we've got Subicio in South Africa. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I do apologize if I've butchered your name there, but thank you for joining us. Saeed is saying, could you please sync your lives with my calendar? I'm confused. Well, we did say a couple of weeks ago that we've decided to go live at 2 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. European, Central European time. For a while, we're just going to try this time slot because we feel if it's early in the morning, people might want to join us from the US and Australia at different time zones. I know it's late in the evening in Australia for some, early in the US for others. So we thought maybe this is a sweet spot for people to join us and hang out. But let's see. Saeed says, you sound a bit cheap. No bass, more like a notebook mic. He's calling you cheap, Martin.
Yeah, he's calling me cheap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my microphone back to the other one because I can hear noise going on now in the background. So let me just switch back to the Scarlett microphone. Or, yeah, that's the Scarlett one.
It's going to be loud now. I can feel
bring
it.
that back.
Oh, there you go. That's better. I can hear a bit of noise in the background, a bit of hiss, but I can hear you anyway, at least.
Yeah. So now Crisp is telling me, "Hey, why don't you select me in Ecamm Live? Because I'm currently not removing the background noise. So can you hear that in the background?"
I can hear the thumping in the background, yeah, just about. There's a little bit of background music going on as well that we're doing, but Ender also says that your microphone isn't great. I mean, the problem is that when you use something like Crisp, 90% of the time it's fine, but obviously if it's not allowing Martin to be able to select his correct microphone for whatever reason. And I know a lot of people do use Crisp out there for Mac and so on, and I don't know why it's not selecting your microphone. Considering it's a USB interface, what does it care? I don't know. We need to do more testing with that and as well. But we'll just have to see. I'm just going to switch over to my YouTube side. I just want to turn the volume off because I don't know what I'm looking at right now. So let me just double check because people are saying things are working and so on. Okay. Well, I'm actually looking at a vertical stream with you and I on here as well. That's cool. So that seems to be working. I'm fudging this at the moment because I'm actually doing two streams at the same time from my system. So just let me know in the comments if you're watching on the vertical side. You got Martin and I in that vertical setup at the moment. What's the quality like? Because I'm actually experimenting with different not frame rates but resolutions and bit rates and things just to check because I'm just curious and because I'm using Streamalive because I'm using Restream, thank you, and also on Starlink, then I can't have multiple streams going on at the same time without it affecting my bandwidth. But I think Restream's doing its job, and I'm sending out a single vertical stream to YouTube as well at the same time. So that was a bit of a faff. It's very confusing for people having two YouTube live streams going on at the same time, but one is purely in vertical, one is in widescreen. So we'll see. It seems to look okay. I mean, we've tested a lot of stuff in vertical in the past, but at least with this, we know that it's going and working well on YouTube anyway, at least. So what else are we chatting about today? I know that you've mentioned some music software. Have you been playing with that? I'll tell you my thoughts on it and what I've been doing.
Yeah, so just really yesterday, I just thought I should really go and have a look at music software, and partially driven by the fact that my Envato Elements subscription was about to renew, and that is, it's going on it's a fair amount of money per annum for that. And nowadays I don't use Envato Elements for any of the video content because I'm creating all of that using AI. So in tools like Veed, in particular for the video content, and even still images, they're all created in Ideogram or Kittle or another AI tool. So I thought really I should look at AI music as well, because it's pretty difficult when you're searching for music tracks. There's just endless amounts in Envato Elements, which is good and bad, but the bad news is you have to pick them all the time. So I thought, let's have a look at the AI music creation tools. And the first one that popped up on the list was Suno, or Suno, depending on how you pronounce it. So I thought I'd go and have a quick look at that. And you can more or less just prompt it with a description and it will create a music track for you. And I've then dropped that into a video clip just to try it out, and you can shift the clip around and fade it in and out in Veed to sort of match what I want. And it worked at a basic level, it worked very well. And the interesting thing for me is it's creating music which is royalty free, and it's not going to get you a YouTube strike or anything like that. And I can tell it that I want to have a 1990s acid house TB303 track with a hint of ska, and it will then produce exactly that. So I've not really gone any deeper than that, because what I really want to do, I mean, the ideal workflow for me is that I create my video clip, and then I can just match, in particular, the duration of a audio clip to it, but also potentially to match other bits and pieces within the video as well, and move the audio elements around to match the video. So I'd like to play about, but I mean, at a very basic level, it's just about getting a short musical track, because a lot of these videos are 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds long, and audio tracks tend to be like 3 minutes long. So you drop in an audio track, and just as it's starting to build up, your clip's finished. So I need much more punchy short audio clips to match in with the punchy short video clips. So I haven't tried anything else. Suno came top. I think 11 Labs was appearing there, but I've not looked at that at all. But I know that Neil is more of an audiophile than me, so perhaps he can give me a few hints and tips.
So, yeah, interesting. So I got some comments around that as well. So Maggie was saying, Maggie's a musician. She's a singer and performer, and has been doing that work for, I don't want to say how many years, Maggie, but it's been a while. Let's put it that way. And so she's recently ditched Envato Elements too for music and stuff. So I'm a musician. Well, try to be a musician. Been writing music and creating stuff since I was about 12, something like that. And I've got a bunch of old songs that I've recorded over the years. And because Suno has been getting better and better with some things, I know a lot of people use it, and there's been some controversy about Suno because there's been a number of bands, I say bands, that have been on Spotify that are purely AI-driven music that are getting really good reviews and followers and things like that. And it's purely, that band doesn't exist. It's just a prompt that's been thrown into the likes of Suno and then generated this sort of country laid-back folk type music or something, which is interesting. And I've listened to some of it, and it's quite interesting because these programs learn only certain, it's only got a certain library to learn from, right? So from a creativity perspective, it only knows certain frameworks and sort of settings in terms of sort of music capability. So I think in some respects, creating the music just by using prompts on Suno is quite limited. But what I did is I've taken some of my old audio tracks, some mixes that I've done in the past, and decided to throw that into Suno and just say, give me a different style with this. So it's basically taken my song, which is weird to hear, and then turned it into a completely different genre. So I write sort of sometimes moody pop, whatever it might be, and it's turned it into some sort of, country and western song. Something like that, or a thrash metal, or anything that you can sort of think of. It'll change this, but it gives you a different perspective on the music. So if you do want to put it into the genre that you've actually written, then it is interesting because it actually then gives you inspiration and different ideas. And then you can export the stems, the actual individual tracks, out of Suno on the piece that it's created for you. So you create this AI piece of music, maybe based on your original piece. You can then export the different tracks, so the bass, the guitars, the drums, the keyboards, whatever. And then you can remix that with your own vocals on top. So I think the creativity is endless in terms of what you can potentially do with that as well. And I think it's interesting what you can potentially do with it. So I think for creating copyright free music, and that's another little bit of controversy. Because there's some similarities with some of the music in terms of when you're generating this music, does it sound like something else? But I think what you want to do is you want to have like background music and other styles of music, so you can actually use that for your own video content. So if you're creating AI content, you're basically wanting to create music to support that. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I saw them doing a couple of interesting things in the demo. So, for instance, the guy was singing, inverted commas, a little melody, not particularly well, but that didn't really matter, because what he was wanting it to do was to take that melody and then convert it into another instrument. So let's say, I can't remember whether it's violin or keyboards or whatever, but he sang the melody and then it played it back on the keyboard as a melody rather than his vocal. He didn't want to use his vocal at all. He was just, I suppose, giving it the idea of the melody for the song that he wanted. So I thought, wow, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
That he can more or less mumble it, and then it played the piano back to him for whatever he had hummed, mumbled into the mic. That was fairly amazing. And he had 3 or 4 different versions of a track, and he was swapping around the drums and grabbing them off one track because he preferred it to the other track that he'd got that was a similar version. And so the whole mix and match element sounded really interesting as well. So as you've just indicated, if you could do 2 or 3 versions of your own song and then say, actually, let's try the drums from the ska version along with the R&B vocal or something, to create a different genre entirely that nobody has heard of or wants. But you could go down that route if you really wanted to. Like I've done a ska techno TB303 acid house crossover, just to see what it came up with, and actually I quite liked it. So.
Well, and it's weird, right? So because you think, oh, this is never going to work with this particular song or this particular style, and sometimes it just sparks some inspiration and creativity. Lots of comments have been generated by this, so let me just go way back. So I did ask a quick question about the stream quality. So Saeed has said that the quality in the phone looks great in vertical, but on desktop, when it's closer up, the quality is lower. Yeah, because I think I'm only streaming at 720p right now. You can do 1920 by 1080 and then 1280 by 720, or the other way around because it's vertical. Then that's what it's set to at the moment. It's set to the lower resolution. I didn't want to blow my machine up with this first test, but I will be doing some more as well. Ender was saying that before the AI boom, as in the teaser, was the leader in AI avatar videos. I wonder if you ever heard of them. Yeah, they were around at the beginning, weren't they? Have you heard of them recently? Are they still around?
They were focusing very much on training videos. So you have an AI avatar that does training videos for you, and that seemed to be the route that they have travelled down. But I think the difference there is you could put in much longer scripts for their avatars than you can do on a lot of the other AI tools. So Veed, for instance, will do a character to lip sync off your own voice, but it's 30 seconds you get in Veed.
Yeah.
And that really, if you're doing a training video, that's not long enough. I spent 4 hours doing a little training video that was 2.5 minutes long. I mean, it looked great when it was finished, but I'm not going to sit there for 4 hours to do a 2.5 minute video when, in particular, because we've got Ecamm,
yeah, exactly.
I can just sit here and on green screen or otherwise in the corner of the screen, and why bother being my avatar self when I can be my real self and just record the whole thing? So there are pluses and minuses for those tools, but certainly I believe they were going down the route of stick all the training material in and we'll create a script for you, and that's all done with AI, and they can improve the script, and then you can choose your different AI avatar, And one of the other things they could do as well is to allow you within the script to actually put in brackets different emotions. So halfway through the script, if you want them to get excited, then they get excited. If you want them to be a little flatter, then you can ask it to do that by just putting literally excited in brackets, and then they'll be excited till the next time that you put another bracket in.
So you got to.
So unless you put another one in, they could be excited for a bit too long. But you can certainly ask it to do all those sort of things, and it does it very well from what I have seen.
It's great from what I've seen as well. And it's a little bit like I've been playing around with, what's it called? HeyGen, similar thing. So you record a 2-minute, 3-minute video of yourself just like this. Try not to do too many hand gestures and things. And then you can either script and create a script, put it in, it'll lip sync to a voice that sounds really nothing like you. So you really have to either then do an audio dub of it yourself, or you get something like 11 Labs, which is very good at voice cloning, and then use 11 Labs, which connects then to HeyGen. So it's a bit of a faff, but I've just been playing with it. I just thought I'll just pay for a month, see what I can do with it. The quality of the video is pretty good, but the lip syncing is a little bit, it's not great. I've seen better. Tons of comments again, so let me just try and catch up with some of these. So Said talks about the Elgato voice focus. Yes, Said. So I think I did a video on my channel some months back around the voice focus. I think it worked really well, actually. I have tried Crisp in the past and couldn't sort of get my head around sort of some of the settings, but with the Elgato voice focus software that you can get, I think on the Wavelink software, if you get one of their XLR or one of the mics, it comes with that as well. I think you may have to pay for it now. I can't remember. But the point is, it was free when I was testing it, and it did an amazing job. I had an air conditioning unit right next to me, blowing and making this horrible noise, and just switched on the voice focus. And what I found is that if it wasn't set to 100%, which inevitably you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this because it obviously will give you lots of artifacting. I think it did an amazing job at removing all the background noise. So maybe we should try that with you next, Martin, to try the voice focus, because it actually uses AI algorithms to work out what is a human voice versus what's going on in the background. And it will just eliminate everything. It did sound a little bit too dead to me in some respects. Like if you're listening through headphones, when you're in a anechoic chamber, for example, and it's completely dead, you hear nothing. There's no room noise, no room tone. So I think it's important to have a little bit of that, but it worked okay. Let's have a look. So Anders saying both vertical and horizontal look good to him. Great. So yes, you would get 2 notifications, because the first time I'm actually just going to YouTube twice at the same time. I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know YouTube would allow you to like stream within like a second of each other to the same channel with the same content. So yeah, it's fine. Let's have a see. I fixed it.
So is that something? Is that something you needed to apply for on YouTube? There seem to be various notifications going around saying, "Oh, I think you'll need something to be set in YouTube to be able to do both at the same time."
No, I don't think so.
But is that just a passing requirement that's now disappeared and it just happens?
I mean, it worked for me. I didn't change anything. So I'm going live via Restream from Ecamm, and then I'm going live from Ecamm to YouTube at the same time. So both streams, and I set them up to go live at the same time. So I just started the stream at the same time, and it seemed to work. Yes, Saeed, sorry. I was in a rush fixing my vertical side of things. So I fixed the pixels now. It was 3 pixels out. I could see it. I was like, no, it's not. And like, oh, yes, it is. Yeah. So thanks, Saeed, for keeping me on point here. So Maggie was saying she believes that regarding Suno, that the late John Wright's beautiful folky stuff is being used. That's interesting, because they are taking references from artists maybe that have passed away. I don't know whether to get around any copyright, because I think it's 50 years, isn't it, or something like that? Isn't that the copyright laws for music? Like all the
it's something like that.
Because Michael Jackson bought all the
Woody
Beatles
Guthrie stuff and things like that's appearing, isn't it? So
yes, because didn't Michael Jackson buy all the Beatles back catalogue or something? Because it expired.
I think he did.
Something like that. Hello, Dean Home One. Thank you, coming from North Carolina. What gear are you using for the stream? It's a mixture, but effectively the platform that we're using to stream from is Ecamm Live, which is a Mac-only software, but you can do similar things in Meld Studio and OBS, of course. It's just that we're Mac users, so that's what we're using. And a mixture of Restream, which is a multi-streaming platform, and Zoom, which is how I'm bringing Martin in as a guest into the production. Oh, you can focus on the content now. Okay, well, thanks for that, Saeed. This is great. Yes, it is Ecamm, indeed. You're right. So Saeed's asking, I use NVIDIA Broadcast. It does an awesome job with my sound removal and voice focus, but PC only. So that's relying on having the NVIDIA chip, the graphics card in your machine, I think, right?
Yeah, the card, isn't it? Yeah.
I think so. Okay, cool. Oops. Alexa's going off in the background. I have to be quiet. I don't know how she got that prompt from me just saying that last sentence, but there you go. So anyway, I know we went around a lot there about Suno, but I have been playing with it and I do find it very interesting. So what's your sort of choice then? Are you going to ditch Envato and look at something else now? Because Envato's quite expensive, right? Monthly payment. It's like 30 a month.
Envato's quite expensive, but it did give you a lot because it gave you all the graphics and the video and still images and various versions, so from photographic images to cartoon-like images and things like that. And one of the things that used to be annoying about it was you would say, right, that image looks good. Oh, show me more from that artist, and they'd have 3 or 4 images that look quite good. That's you bringing up your black box again, Neil.
It's a shift. It's a shift button. What does that come from? I need to disable that. Sorry, that's
it's
very
a keyboard
annoying.
Shortcut, Maestro. But it would give you a collection of 3 or 4 items that look the same, and you would think, oh, that's great. But what I really need is, one with a microphone in, or one with a speaker in, or so, and it wouldn't have them. So despite the fact it had got 10,000 different images, you would only find 4 that matched what you wanted to do. But now I can go to a tool like Kittle, drop in 1 reference image and say, give me a matching set, and it will give me 6 images based upon whatever I put in. So a telephone, a microphone, a monitor, a car, a dog, a cat, and it will match the images perfectly with my reference image, meaning I no longer need to rely on the image side of things at all. And then the video side of things, much of a muchness. It's nearly all the same. The only thing which AI is particularly useless at the moment, it would appear, is creating looped videos. So if I want a looped video for a background, which I quite often do, then AI doesn't seem to want to do that for me at the moment. It's just the way it works, but I'm pretty sure there will be a tool out there that will allow you to loop videos sooner or later, because in Veed at the moment they've just introduced new AI transitions so that you can put clip 1, transition, clip 2, and it will do a fancy transition between them. So presumably I could then take clip 1, put it on the end and do a transition, and then do another transition, and it should in theory create a looped sequence then of multiple things. So I need to try that out. But other than that, Envato didn't keep up quickly enough with everything that was happening with AI. Just lately they have introduced some AI stuff, but I think they missed the boat, and that subscription's gone. It's Black Friday, so there's 40% off Suno at the moment. The brief look I've had at it, I thought, oh my lord, do I really want to do this? Because I can see it being a very interesting rabbit hole that I could spend days and days and days going down, because there's so much in there. But I don't know of any more basic, simple versions of AI music creation that are out there, because I've not had a look. So if anybody's got any tools that they have tried and didn't like, or tried and liked in the AI music creation world for my use case, which is basically just a short clip of music, probably 5 to 20 seconds long, no more than a minute long of music. Then drop something in the comments. Let us know what tools you're using and what you like or don't like for AI music creation for someone with no musical talent.
I've got a couple of questions for you and some interesting workflows that Dean's using. So first question from Saeed. I can give you my opinion on some software that I've used, some tools that I've used in the past that I don't subscribe to them anymore. But can you use the Envato stuff after you cancel the subscription? I'll tell you how it works for some others, but you go ahead.
I believe that you can continue to use stuff if you downloaded it with a license to use it. So there's always a pop-up that says, do you want to download this with a license? And nearly always you just say, nah, can't be bothered. But you're a bit screwed then if you've cancelled your subscription and you haven't downloaded the licenses with every one of the items you're going to use, then officially, no, I don't think you can. So if you've downloaded the license with it, you're clear, you're good to go. But I'm going to say probably 99% of the people who use it don't bother downloading the license. The only occasions I ever did was for music. In case I got a strike on YouTube, I would download the license. And I think in all the time I ever used it, I only needed to submit the license once to YouTube to show I'd got a license. Once ever. So I don't consider that to be, something I'm too worried about.
I used it's not Artlist, it's something like that, where it was just music specifically for my previous YouTube channels before I started live streaming and things. And the T's and C's basically said that within that duration of your subscription, you're obviously free to use, it's all licensed and things. And if you terminate your subscription, all the videos that you've previously had the music on, because it's within that subscription period, and they know when the video was published and they know when you had your subscription, then you're fine. It's if you then reuse the music after the fact and then you don't have your subscription, then you would potentially get a copyright strike or something related to that. So they're quite good in that respect, because you can't expect people to subscribe to them forever, and then you'd have to take all your YouTube videos down that you've used their music for. That wouldn't be good practice. So that works, I think, and that's fine. But you have to be careful. I know that when we did, I think either a live stream and the monetize was checked for that particular stream. I don't do that anymore for any of the live streams. None of them are sort of have the monetize, because it's annoying because you get adverts and things in live streams. I know that it picked up and said, this can't be monetized because you're using Envato Elements audio at the beginning, because I think it was like one of your streams where you had an Envato Elements audio, and it said, nah, you can't do that because it's not associated with me. It was actually coming on my channel as well, because we were multi-streaming. So you got to be careful with that as well. If you are multi-streaming, or if you are pairing channels, or if you're collaborating with other users, then you've got to make sure that the music you're using is copyright for both of those channels, because what you don't want is one person to have a license and the other one not. So that's an interesting one, because I don't know how many people have used the collaboration feature on YouTube. I've used it for 2 or 3 projects that I was working with some vendors, and you can't do it for live streaming right now. So if I create a video, post it on YouTube, I can toggle and ask somebody to invite them to be a collaborator. So all that means is if they accept, that video shows up on their channel, it shows up on my channel, and then when you click on the video, you'll see 2 little icons side by side, which is saying that this is a collaboration project, which is cool. So just be careful when you're using that type of music that you don't want to break anything and so on. More comments coming in. Let me have a look. This is an interesting one, Dean. We should get you on the show, actually. You use Blackmagic Web Presenter, never seen that before, to restream for YouTube and Kick, Video Assist with USB to Mac Mini for Twitch, and then on a Mac, I use Prism to take the video feed to... My mind's already blown. So, Dean, I know you're in North Carolina. If you want to come on the show at some point in the future, in the next couple of weeks, and talk about your setup, because we love talking about tech setups and something completely different than Ecamm, OBS and whatever. I have the Blackmagic Decklink Quad card that I'm using to pull in all the video from the various video sources I have here. which has been phenomenal. Never had a problem with it. But I'd love to know how you're setting all that up. So if you want to come on the show, let us know in the comments, and you can get in touch with me either on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, and we'll set up a time and come on the show. And if this time works for you, that would be great. Love it. Check out the Payout B from Jones. I use it, the Blackmagic, sometimes really good for playback, like Playback Pro, MIDI or Hyper Deck, but for 40 on the Raspberry. Oh, so you're using it on Raspberry Pi or PC. Wow. Okay. There's some of the tech stuff there that I'm not familiar with, so I'd love to learn more about it as well. Saeed says, Marika, I tried it for creating a song, including lyrics. Okay. I've not heard of that before. That's cool. The license you mentioned is just an extra step, not extra cost. Yeah, so you download the license based on the tracks that you're using, is that right? Just like a click and then you download it. Yeah, so it's like a text license file or something, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, if you're the sort of organised person, then you can download the license for every single thing that you download, and you, I suppose, file the license next to the image or the video or the clip of music, and then you're good to go. But I can't see. It's a bit like, do you accept the terms and conditions? Yes, without reading any of them.
Of course.
It's a bit one of those ones. So.
Dean's also asking, Dean's a tech wizard here. Have you also tried Whisk AI for video with Talking Head and Sumo for instrumental? I've heard of Whisk, but I've never used it. Have you played with it? I've heard of it. I'm sure you've mentioned this before.
I haven't at all.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different tools out there that really you need to pick one and focus on it and dive into it fairly deeply. And I chose Veed because it's got multiple different. It's got an AI playground for video generation. It's got talking head capability. You're able to stick in effectively an avatar and get it to, I had it speaking through a frog and all sorts of things. So it's not restricted to just your head. So it had those, and it had a bunch of other stuff that looks interesting, but in my opinion doesn't work as well. So there's some slide to video stuff. There's some reel creation for mini reels that works really, really well, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. It will create magic little clips between different elements of your own video for I don't know, somebody working in an office, somebody fixing a car, and it will show a little clip in the middle while you're talking and blend those in perfectly. If that's the kind of reel that you want for advertising somewhere or other, then it's brilliant at doing that. It's just not something I want to do at this moment. But I think it's got some product mock-up and things like that coming along, and other stuff as well. So it gave me a big enough area to explore and has kept me busy, and I'm happy with what it does because it now pulls in from just about every AI render model that you can think of. So it will pull in from Kling to the Google to Nano Banana, everything's in there. And for image creation and for video creation, they're all in there as options. Some are more expensive from a credits point of view. It all works on credits than others. So some of the more advanced Google versions now are like 1,000 credits to do a render, whereas a Kling one's 140 credits. So
really?
Lo and behold, I haven't actually tried the really expensive Google ones, but I'm assuming all of these different organizations have arrangements financially with all the other different organizations. So
fantastic.
Hey,
there you go. Let me have a look. Lots of comments. So Dean is definitely up for coming on the show. Great. So my Instagram is my name, Neil Faramond, or you can get in touch with me via YouTube or somewhere. I don't want to put my email address on here, but you can get in touch with me some way. So let me know. I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn as well. So we'll find each other and we'll get a time set up for the future. This time seems to work for a lot of people. I can see we've got a number of people in the chat and stuff, and I think it's a great time to keep going. So I think 2 p.m. is works for us. Let us know in the comments if 2 p.m. our time that we're streaming right now is good for you, because it sounds like a lot of people are sort of just waking up and hearing the dulcet tones of Martin and myself. So why not? So Bob's joined us as well. Hey, Bob. Thanks for joining. So the big problem is when another platform comes online next year, it picks up your whole podcast series. Then all the copyright flags pop up. Oh, wow. After I had terminated the account. That's interesting. So if you're like migrating from one, are you talking about when you're saying podcasting, you're talking about like when you're syndicating from a different platform, even maybe from Spotify to, let's say, Riverside or some other thing like that. That could be a problem. I wonder how you get around that, because obviously if you paid your licenses and paid your subscriptions for that various music, I'm wondering why they don't sort of honor that. That's a big problem though. So maybe, yeah, I don't like the sound of that, especially if you're trying to move across from different platforms. So go ahead.
And it may not be intentional either. It might just be a workflow thing that, they've got a workflow to check for things, and the workflow kicks in, it checks for things, and it finds a load of problems, and therefore they need to have a look at their workflow to say, oh, here's another step that says, hang on, Bob's come from Riverside, and he's now on our platform. Has he, is there any problem with bringing that over or not?
Right.
So I think it's more likely to be a workflow issue that the new podcast supplier has not thought about. Because I've got it, for instance, I moved my broadband from Virgin to Sky. That was the plan. As it turns out, Sky, despite telling me I could have their broadband, the engineers arrived to install it, and there's no boxes in the street. So short of them digging up the street and putting cables down, I'm not going to get Sky. However, the workflow's all broken because I've sent the box back under request, but I am continuously now getting hounded by Sky for telling me that I'm overdue on my account, which was never opened, and they're fining me all sorts of different money left, right and centre, and my service is about to be removed. Well, I don't have a bloody box, you dick. So their workflow is broken, and they have multiple workflows which are not connected properly.
Sounds like
so
it. Yeah.
I only say that because I was in IT and we did a lot of workflow stuff in the products I used.
It's not difficult if you get it right. Right, that's the thing.
No.
So Wayne says, how easy to produce the show in the dual stream? As easy as a single layout. Can't go into detail yet, unfortunately, but needless to say, it was pretty straightforward for me to set this up, even though I did get the sizing of the boxes incorrect, and Saeed basically pointed out that I need to maybe frame those a bit better. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. And there will be some tutorials and some workflows coming up to let you know how about to set this up. But obviously, testing things, there's a few, not teething problems, but obviously there's things that we find out when we're working through these programs and just testing stuff out. And that's why we're testing it today. So it's the first time I'm actually testing this live. And so far, it's been very good. Saeed says, we lost him at organised. Did we ever use the word organised? I don't think so. But anyway, so Ender's asking, did we hear about the reboot of Vine? Who remembers Vine? I remember that. So Divine is currently in development, backed by a former Twitter CEO. Is that Jack Dorsey? Because I heard that Jack Dorsey was playing around with potentially using or re-energizing Vine. My goodness me. That was the social media precursor to, what was it? Was it, I can't remember where Vine was being used primarily, who had it originally. I forget. There's so many of these ones. Thank you, Dean. So I'll catch up with you on Instagram later, and we'll catch up. This is a good time for Asia. Great. All right, that's good stuff. Bob says he had an account with Artlist and Epidemic. That's the one I used, Epidemic sign. And then when YouTube dragged them all across, they were starred podcasts and the copyright issue started. Yes, so that's an interesting one. So because obviously YouTube has got the ability to import your RSS feed as a podcast now, because they've got their own podcast section. So then that's a bit naughty. So then YouTube just decides to flag you as a copyright strike. That's not right. Yeah, don't know how to get around that. Well, I hope it. And then there's more. And then Spotify started doing the same thing when they came online. You can't win then, right? Because you pay one license and one subscription, and these subscriptions aren't cheap, right? So then, yeah, interesting. Not good. Sharks don't swim backwards. Once a workflow has started, there's no going back. Good point.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, definitely. Right, any questions or comments, thoughts for us? Obviously, I think this time is working well, so I think we're definitely going to stick to this time. So Saeed is going to be 3 o'clock Central European time from now on, for the foreseeable future anyway, because I think it's working well and so on. Dean says YouTube used to support multi-cam collaboration back in the day. Do you remember? It was brief. I don't even remember that, actually. Multicam collaboration. So you could bring people in on a live stream using like the YouTube studio, you mean? I've never seen that. Maybe either before my time or before I started live streaming. I mean, I've been a YouTuber since 2015, maybe even before then, but never seen that before. Have you seen that, Martin?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Not
Interesting.
Not if I understand what's being
yeah.
said.
I'm not sure, but yeah, maybe you explain a little bit more about what there's. Oh yeah, so he says yes. All right, so it was using YouTube Studio. I don't really use YouTube Studio. I mean, that was obviously the time everybody had to use YouTube Studio, or back in the day when you could use your phone for that when they first came out, and then obviously platforms like StreamYard and Restream and EVMux and Riverside all came out with allowing you to actually do their own sort of platforms and stuff. That is interesting. Yeah, we'll have to. Hopefully, they don't need to go back to that again. I'm not sure how YouTube is handling, or will be handling the vertical horizontal multi-streaming. I don't know whether anybody's got any thoughts on that. They teased it a few months ago for the creator side, but I know some people have got it and it's been rolling out. I don't have it at the moment. So the idea is that one YouTube feed from your platform could then be split by YouTube into horizontal and vertical, which would be quite interesting. So I haven't got access to that yet. I'm just using software to do what I'm doing right now. So that would potentially allow you to do way more things. So you could go vertical to another platform. I was going to say,
yeah, go ahead. And in terms of comments coming in, are you able to see the difference between the platforms via Restream for which platform the comments are coming in from, and also if you're streaming in horizontal and vertical to YouTube, for instance, can you tell if somebody is watching in the vertical version and in commenting in vertical as opposed to commenting on the landscape version?
Yeah, Saeed's just mentioned about that actually. So he finds it hard to watch live streams on vertical on the phone. I just have to fix that layout a little bit. At the moment, I've just thrown the layout out there. There's no comments coming in from this side of the tool into vertical at the moment anyway. It's only on the horizontal stream. So I do have guides and setups for that, but I just haven't really played with it at the moment. And I think what I need to do is take a screenshot. In fact, I should do that now of the vertical stream and then see what it looks like and so on. In fact, I'll just do that. Martin will talk about something.
You do.
Yeah,
I'll fill in.
You can fill in. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
The interesting thing about vertical actually is that depending on which platform you're on, the comments take up more space or less space. It's particularly bad actually in YouTube, that just chunks up tons of space for you. But some of the other platforms do that as well. Bizarrely, the one which is the nicest or the kindest is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn just takes a tiny little strip down the bottom where it's putting your comments in, and it's much more friendly therefore to set up your layouts for LinkedIn. The bad news is if you stream live vertical to LinkedIn, then looking at it on your phone it looks pretty awful because it's just a tiny little strip down the middle of the vertical. Looks fine on a larger screen, but once you've finished your live, if you then look at the playback on LinkedIn in vertical on your phone, it looks absolutely excellent. In fact, I would say it's better than any of the others in terms of a playback. Now, it has squeezed the margins a bit recently. It's certainly changed the sort of the cropping margins and things on it. But even so, it doesn't flag up loads of buttons all over the place that are getting in the way of your stream so it looks really crisp and clean in vertical on replay only on LinkedIn. We're hoping that at some point or other, being as they've got all these different options in place to promote vertical video and things like that, that they're going to allow vertical streaming live to LinkedIn and honour the aspect ratio for people watching. I think that's inevitable that it will happen, but as various people have pointed out, the left hand and right hand don't necessarily know what they're doing, and Microsoft are involved as well, so anything could happen, and maybe they'll just say, yeah, of course you can, but we're going to monetize that. So we'll see.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that LinkedIn will get a bit better with the whole vertical thing, especially allowing you to see it properly when you do go live, but we shall see. Dean mentioned that there are a lot of features on YouTube, like SRT, and HDR, but not all of us have access. Yeah, the high dynamic range stuff is interesting, and the SRT stuff is also interesting for live streaming, but yeah, I don't have access to it as well. Oops, I've just moved my comments out of the way. So Saeed has kindly taken a screenshot. Thank you. I had a quick look. It doesn't look terrible, but I think the quality needs to be changed on the vertical side. I need to flick that switch, but it's fine. And he also mentions that what he says was that the keyboard pops up, and then when you want to comment, which crops a third of the video. Yeah, that's just the way it is on vertical. There's only so much space you can have, and if we made ourselves really, really small, then it wouldn't be great, because I have a screen that's just the active speaker, and Martin's the active speaker right now. But yeah, I'd have to see how that works. We'll have to play around with it. Only time will tell. There's only so much space you've got on the vertical side anyway that works. But yeah, we'll see. I'm going to give everybody a 3-minute warning because it's nearly 3 o'clock. Yeah. We're going to stop at the top of the hour, but carry on, Martin. We can go over as well. It's no problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think actually that there is more screen estate than you would think on vertical, because you think about it, people watch soccer games, they watch movies, they watch all sorts on vertical. There is a bit of an obsession that I see with people in vertical thinking they need to fill up the whole of the screen with their face, and that's the typical sort of doing the selfie type version because they've seen other people doing it. But actually, you can put yourself in little frames further up the screen and you still look pretty big, much bigger than the average soccer player who you're watching or the average movie star who you're watching. So there's more space than you think. We've had up to 10 guests in vertical on, and it looked really, really good.
Yeah.
So you just need to decide where you position them and have maybe one large box, which is your active speaker, and then 9 smaller boxes for you to be able to see, right, it's plenty big enough to see that's Neil, that's Saeed, that's Matt, that's John. And then the active speaker is the one that pops up larger, and we had it cleverly in black and white for all of the guests, and then the active speaker would pop up in colour. And that's just, you look at that on your phone and instantly you think, that was pretty cool. We're seeing all these people on the show, and then up pops the active speaker in colour at the top of the screen. Hopefully that's where the comments aren't going, and then just leave a bit of screen estate at the bottom, as much as you can for comments to come in, or for the keyboard to come in. So yeah, it's more to play with than you might think.
Definitely. Saeed says, content tip, a template with safe zones to help other creators. We do have one somewhere. I could probably dig it out, put a link in this video in the comments, and then you can just download it. It's just a transparent PNG with some guides on there. I think you created one, didn't you, Martin? I'm sure I created one as well.
Yeah, I did as well, because there's a couple of things you have to watch out for that you might not think about. The left-hand side and right-hand side of the screen might pop up with buttons coming in left and right, dependent on which platform you're in. And the other bizarre one is that things like an iPhone, where your camera sits at the very top of your iPhone screen, it's sort of a little lozenge shape. You may well find that you think you've got a lovely title at the top of your screen, and then you go to look at it back and you find out you've just got the text on the left and the right of the lozenge because it's chopped it out at the top. So you need to be careful of a few little things around the edges. So don't don't push your video or your content right to the edges of the screen. You're bound to lose something. And all of the phones have got kind of slightly different aspect ratios. They're not all the same.
No.
So it's quite complicated, but essentially the bottom line is you need to stick to the middle of the screen and not try to utilize the very edges anywhere at all.
As much as you can.
It will get lost somewhere or other.
Yes, I agree. And we'll definitely try and post that out. I'll need to use it and dig it up again anyway if I'm going to do more vertical stuff. Dean's got a quick question. What are your thoughts on using your phone now as a cinema camera versus regular camera with apps like Blackmagic Camera app, making it easier? I love the Blackmagic Camera app. I have it on my phone. I use it all the time now. I don't like the iPhone app itself. And I think if you guys watch the channel Film Riot, who've been going forever, they're great guys, both now based in Texas, and they've made short films, and they just do guerrilla filmmaking, and that's where they started. And I'm a big fan of theirs, and I followed them for a while. They've recently done a couple of sort of tutorials on using the Blackmagic app and then using the iPhone, because now you can shoot in RAW. I mean, the files are ridiculous. You do need to plug in an extra hard drive to your phone in order to cope with the actual file sizes of ProRes RAW. But either way, it's a great app, and I use it as well for testing. I don't have the RAW capability on my phone, but I do use the Blackmagic app, and I think the fact that it's got all these controls, just like standard cameras, because I'm from a sort of video background as well, I just love the fact that you can use it and the flexibility you have as well with it. And if you remember the 28 Days Later film with who directed that now? The name escapes me, the director, the English fella. I can't remember his name. Anyway, somebody will put in the comments.
Horror film.
Yeah, the horror film. Yeah, the 28 Days Later. So he basically shot all that on an old. I don't think it was a phone at the time, but it wasn't a standard cinema camera. And his latest film, parts of that was shot on an iPhone as well. So it's really interesting that they are basically using these types of apps and workflows for cinema stuff. Danny Boyle, that's his name. And so yeah, he's it's interesting that people can just make this stuff on phones now and so on. Ryan Connolly, that's right, is the guy's name from Film Riot, and it now streams to YouTube from the Blackmagic Camera. I didn't know that, so I haven't updated it recently. So now you can stream live from YouTube using the Blackmagic Camera, so you've got all the effects and things. There's so much stuff now you can use. Fantastic. Right. Wow. That's been a great conversation today. I thought we were just going to come on, play around with Crisp for 5 minutes. Things didn't work out well, and then we'd just disappear. Well, the power of vertical. Well,
things didn't work out that well with Crisp. I think the 7-day trial of Crisp is pretty much over.
I think I'd
rather just have the noise in the background if the quality of which several people said that the quality of the mic had gone way down. So I won't be using it.
And the fact that you can't use your actual interface that you want as well is a pain. But I would, we should try out maybe in the next stream or something in the background, just the Elgato voice focus software, because it's really good from what I tested anyway. I don't need to use it because my room's pretty well treated, but if there's any noise in the background, then yeah, I definitely would that. And yeah, great to meet you as well, Dean. Thanks so much for stopping by, and really nice that you've joined us. It's always nice to see new faces on the stream and old faces as well. And yeah, we'll get in touch and you will be on the show. Maybe you can do it next week if you're free. We'll let you know and we'll get in touch anyway. With that, any other questions, comments, thoughts? Give us a quick shout out in the comments. I have to wait 15 seconds, of course. But yeah, I probably need some help from you, Martin, on redesigning. I don't want to say redesigning because I don't want to change anything too much, but just a little bit of tweaking on the vertical side of the workflow that I'm using right now, just to see if we can get it to look a bit better just based on the screenshots. And thanks, Saeed, for sending those screenshots out as well. I think we do need to just play around a little bit with that, because I'll probably end up doing this more regularly, because it's nice to give those two formats. I just have to be careful what I'm sharing in terms of what's visible on the vertical side, because if we just keep it talking heads, bring people in as guests and have a chat that way, it works well. But when you start to share stuff, that's when it becomes unusable. And maybe that's not what we do. We be intentional, and if we want to share something and demo it, we'll just go horizontal. And then if we're just doing this type of thing, we'll do both. Oh, we've got a new comment here. I have no idea who anybody is here, but this live stream got pushed to my front page on YouTube. Hurrah! YouTube is loving us for once. Hello. Well, thank you for joining us. We are both video production people. We use Ecamm Live, long shoulder, Ecamm Live for our production, and we go regularly live every week at this time in the UK. But thank you so much for just popping in, because that's the beauty of finding new people and things. And if you like this content, then yeah, just subscribe to the channels and come and join us on the live streams. We love talking about tech, video production and things, and we've got tons of different videos and tutorials and stuff all about this thing. We've got a lovely set of people that join us regularly as well. Some great people in the comments and in the community, and yeah, spread the word. But thank you, YouTube. That's the first time YouTube's ever done that, or at least somebody's commented and said we've just popped into their feed randomly. What a Thanksgiving treat for everybody. That's all I can say.
Yeah, enjoy your Thanksgiving. That's the end of the show for us, isn't it?
Nearly.
Just to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah, just to say thank you. Yeah, and we are grateful and thankful for everybody that's supported us over the years and so on. But you are interested in software thingy that you're using to stream. We're using Ecamm Live, which is a Mac-only software, but you can do something very similar, as I've mentioned, with OBS. And we've got some OBS experts. Saeed, the facilitator, is an OBS guy in here, and he can tell you all about it as well. You mentioned horizontal comments showing up at the bottom. Yes. Yeah, so in the horizontal feed, we can do that in the vertical as well. We're just not set that up at the moment as well. So yeah. Oh, and this is how Dean found us as well. See, that's interesting. What's YouTube doing? We'll find out. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Oh, and it wasn't random, but you popped into my feed, so I just dropped in. Wow. My mind is blown with all these new people joining us. Well, don't forget to subscribe, like, and all that wonderful stuff, and you'll get notified when we go live next time. But for us now, it's well over the hour. Thank you for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving. We're very grateful for you all being here. If I press the end button, it might not work, but I'm going to try it anyway. So thanks for joining us.
Cheerio, everyone.
Bye.